through your brothers a way for all of us to get together, this diaspora, this wonderful diaspora. And so, first of all, Lord, thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing us together all over the world to know that we are brothers and sisters in love for our motherland and in love of who we are. So we add our blessings to this so that we can learn much more about who we are and why we are and what we're doing in your plan for this world. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, brother.
Amen. We say, Ashe, and everything else that we say in agreement with what's going on. So mote it be. So may it be.
Thank you.
Share.
Ashe.
Okay. So before we start, I'm gonna go through introducing myself, and then we're gonna go through everyone as well. So the ReConnection chat is the platform, is our platform. So it's where we reconnect, it's where we learn, where we share. So as we always say, no one is a super professor here. We all learn from each other every day. You know, there's so many things I've learned since I started. So my name is Monkam Chenche. My Christian name is Vincent. I don't use Vincent de Paul. I don't really use Vincent a lot, so I go by Monkam mainly. Monkam is in the Bamiléké mean a mysterious child, or the Lakam. If you know, you all know the Lakam, which is a mystery place. So it kind of linked to that. So Monk in the Bamiléké is a child, and then Kam is the Kemet, the mystery place, the royalty. So that's what the name means. So yeah, I'm Bamiléké from origin from Bafam, born in the central part of Cameroon, and I grew up in that area. So started the ReConnection chat because I noticed that brother and sister, after they get their African ancestral DNA to a specific tribe in Cameroon, they wanted to reconnect. They wanted to learn more, to know more. And the best way is to connect each other, to learn from each other, to have a direct connection where you can actually, you know, a brother or anything to ask you, and then you can actually get the answer directly instead of typing on somewhere where you're going to wait for someone to reply. So we got that direct connection. And then sometimes you do also feel that, you know, that today we didn't see Brother Marco for a long time, and then we had to call him just to ask, what's going on? You didn't see you for a long time. So that's the kind of thing we reconnecting from. Wow. So I'm going to go to the next person. Brother Toko. Brother Toko, can you?
Sorry, I have myself muted so I wouldn't interrupt. What's the question?
Just a bit of yourself. Just a bit of yourself.
Oh, yes, my name is Ngwambeua Toko. I am from know my African DNA probably now for almost 3 years. I have visited back home. It was awesome. It was great. I'm happy I'm part of this platform and being able to meet new people and I enjoy learning so much from everyone. This is a really beautiful thing that we have going on here, and I'm hoping we can do more. And like he said, no one is perfect, no one knows everything, and everyone has an opinion, and we should value each other's opinion and leave it at that. Don't take anything personal. And I think we can have a very calm and collective agreement, even if we disagree. Just keep it.
We're getting a Wi-Fi issue.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think he's probably having a Wi-Fi issue.
Yeah, I didn't hear when he introduced himself.
I'm sorry.
That's his,
Mhm.
that's his name. I wanted him to repeat. I just heard his name and I didn't hear.
Okay, brother Tucker, you can hear what Marfo saying.
I'm sorry. I'm having internet issues. My computer keeps freezing on me. I might have to go and get my iPad in a minute. Log out. Allow me to leave and come back. I'm gonna get my iPad and.
Okay, yeah. We're gonna jump to brother Biz, and then you can go ahead again after when you're back, when you get everything sorted.
You said for me?
Yeah, brother Biz.
Oh yeah. I'm Bill Nix from living in Delray Beach, Florida, which is South Florida. Originally from Atlanta, Georgia. Grew up at Morehouse College's campus, and went to high school there, college there, and have traveled around. Have not been to Africa yet, but I'm planning to go very soon. I'm going to start in Egypt in March, and then work my way to Cameroon in hopefully the next year or two. But I'm just thrilled. I did the test and found out I was Bamileke, and I'm just thrilled to know that. And it really got accentuated when Moncon broadcast, and I guess I saw it on Facebook. And so I am, like the rest of you, learning so very much from the motherland, and seeing the commonalities of both Africans and Africans in at least America here. I mean, we're all the same. We're all the same. It's just that when we got to this country, we had to improvise some things in order to survive, which we have and thrive. And it's not just, of course, America, but all over. So this is just great, and I'm happy. As I tell people, I'm in my fourth quarter of life, so I'm happy it's not the 2-minute warning, but I'm just learning a lot as I go about my older, as people say, elder years. So this is just fabulous, and I just enjoy meeting all of you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. So you're gonna enjoy the meeting today. So that's
I know that. I know these are Georgia
you already
rules.
know that. So we're gonna thanks again. Thank you very much. So we're gonna jump to brother Marco, because the guest speaker, they're gonna introduce themselves after, when they're gonna start talking about the main subject. So we're gonna jump to brother Marco.
Peace and blessings, everyone. My government name, or English name, birth name, is Michael Mitchell. The name given to me in Cameroon by the King of Batikong is Nieme, and the name given to me by Fo Sokuju is Cheju. So my full Cameroonian name is Nieme So Cheju. Nieme is the confidant of the king. That was the name that the King of Batikong gave me. I first learned my ancestry through African Ancestry back in 2007, and I've been on that journey ever since, testing with multiple DNA testing companies to learn more about my ancestry. And through that journey, I've found relatives from multiple ethnic groups, but my discovery about my Cameroonian roots began with African ancestry, and my father's maternal results came back Bamileke, Tikar, and Hausa of Cameroon. Thank you.
Welcome. Oh, that's good. Wow. So everything came from Cameroon. That's amazing. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So you're gonna enjoy the show today as well. You're based in Atlanta, so which is a good thing, because it's more about the Bamiléké in Atlanta today. So you're gonna learn a lot. And we got Sister Avanti. How you doing, sister? You okay?
Hi, how are you?
Good. I love your flag.
Thank you. So I'm Paul. I am from Chicago, and I am Tikar. I found out 3 months ago now. But I did do testing with other companies as well, but they give you a pretty broad area. I needed more information.
Okay.
So that shows African ancestry because they pinpointed it.
Okay.
This chat has been good, and definitely appreciate it because we definitely need to reconnect with our family.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So you're gonna enjoy the chat today as well. So it's about Bamileke, Chika, the whole Grassfield. So thank you very much. We got Brother Boris. How you doing, Brother Boris?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you. How are you?
Long time no see.
Long time no see. Yeah, I can quickly introduce myself. I'm Boris Gifo Wabo. So Boris is my Western name. My own name is Gifo. My family's name is Wabo. I was born in Cameroon. I grew up there. I'm now based in Europe. Um, so I grew up knowing that I'm Bamiléké. For me, it was something that I just always knew. But of course, I had a lot of questions. And when I left for Europe for my studies, I ended up having even more questions because um, I was a bit mixed with so many identities, many people, nationalities, people from everywhere. I wanted to find out more about my own culture. And that's how I started to um, search more about my Bamiléké roots, and then that's how I also started to connect with people with the same interests, and a lot of them ended up being based out of Cameroon. So I ended up meeting a couple of African Americans, also Afro-Caribbeans, who trace their roots to Cameroon, and that was a pleasure to exchange. I actually learned a lot from even people who were not born Bamiléké. I mean, knowing that they're Bamiléké, and I feel blessed to be part of the community. I like the way that we interact with a lot of respect and with everyone having so many interesting life experience and ideas. And I think this is very important for the Bamilékés slash Cameroonian, Black, African American, and community to be strong. And it's what I want. I think we need to be stronger so we can have maybe we can sell more, ourselves a bit more in the world so that even non-Bamiléké, non-Africans can find the beauty from our culture. And I'm really gearing towards that. I want to be an ambassador of our culture, and I'm happy that I am learning those skills here.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. I mean, just like Brother Bill said, you know, it's amazing to have a continental born African and then an African born outside Africa to be able to reconnect. In the sense, it's good because when the brother will never actually been there, if they do travel in Cameroon, they know what they expect because they learn so many things in the chat. So when they get over there, a lot of things won't be any surprise, you know. And then again, it's amazing thing. Thank you. Yes,
And I want to add the last thing. My grandpa was a local chief. So I remember growing up and going to visit. So he died. So I would visit when I was very young. So I would usually visit my uncle, who is now the chief. So going to visit my uncle and having so many interesting stories made me wonder why I need to go there. And I have this blessing that I can go to this person who is my uncle. But I find it sad that we don't have this opportunity in school or on other platforms. So I hope I'm working towards that. I hope I can also work on creating content so so that young people around the world from the diaspora can learn about the culture, even though they're sitting in Chicago or Jamaica and they just have interest, but they cannot travel to Cameroon or they don't know anyone.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good. Please make it in English. Make it more easy. Yeah,
I'll try to do it in 2 languages, French and English.
Okay, yeah, that'll be perfect because there's so many content.
I have a question. Did he mention what part of Bamiléké, which land, which area?
My family is from Baham, so I'm from
Baham. Okay.
Baham area.
Do you speak?
I speak a little bit. I've been learning Bafang as well, Fefe.
Oh.
Even though I don't have Fefe roots, just because I was interested in it. But I speak Gomala better, which is the language spoken in Baham.
Mm-hmm.
I can manage a little bit. I have a strong accent, but I'm getting there.
I mean, you just like me, that you was born in Yaoundé. So, and the thing is that when we was younger, especially I don't know in my house because the parent wasn't speaking the same language, which means that you seem to be learning more the mom side language.
Yeah.
They're both from Bafang, but they speak completely. If you look at like a Bafang, you like a Banja, you like a Bapwa. They got completely different way of speaking. Sometimes I went to a funeral in a place called Fonjomonkwe. It's still in the old town, but I couldn't understand nothing they were saying. Nothing. They speak Bafang as well, but it's completely different way they speak. It's completely different. Yeah.
My family is very mixed. On my father's side, I have a lot of different Bamiléké tribes. So Baham, of course, but also Bamenju, Bansoa, I think Bafang. So it was a bit confusing when I was young because my 2 grandma, they would speak different languages.
Okay.
And then I will have French and English and I wish I could speak better, but I'm getting there. I'm working on that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, brother. So we're gonna bring brother Justin. Brother Justin, how you doing?
I'm good, brother. I want to shout out sister. I saw her flag, so I had to. She inspired me. So, hello, Madam President. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Justin.
We pretty much already know each other, but
I know.
I'm Justin. I took African ancestry in February of this year. I got my results in May and traced my maternal lineage to the Bamiléké. And immediately, Brother Monkian reached out to me to reconnect me to, this glorious culture. And ever since then, I've been on a journey of self-discovery, self-knowledge, and self-growth, just trying to reconnect to this culture as much as possible. And mainly so I can pass this on to my children as well, so they don't have to ever question, where we come from, at least from my maternal side anyway. So that's who I am. I look forward to the dialogue today. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, brother. And I'm going to say thanks for connecting me to the Bamiléké of Atlanta as well. Thanks a lot, So that's how we're talking about. So we reconnected, and then you brought me back home as well. So I knew that I didn't actually know that Bamiléké of Atlanta was there. So you took me back there. So that's how you do it. Thank you. Thank you for that. Exactly. So the next one we're gonna go to I think his sister Petronella.
Hi to everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Petronella Sobenyonge, maternal inclined for Momo Division, Bengui, precisely from Jindom village, and my paternal village is from the southwest region, that's Kupe Manengova Division. That's why I'm having Sobenyonge.
Okay.
So I am from both the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon. I'm currently living in Spain, but I grew up in Cameroon, in the northwest part of Cameroon, precisely. In fact, in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon.
Okay. So you got a parent in the southwest and the northwest as well.
Yeah, my mother is from the northwest, while my father is from the southwest.
Wow. So you everything, you Grassfield, you everything.
Yeah.
Do you speak both languages?
For languages, no, I speak none of them.
So, Petronella, what's the story about Coupe Manengumba? When I used to be young, you know, my grandmom from my mom's side came from Limbe, and then she used to tell us that when you don't behave, she said, I'm going to send you to Coupe Manengumba. So when she wants to scare you, what's the story about Coupe Manengumba? Hello? Are you there?
I think we lost her.
Oh, she's gone. Yeah, when I used to be young, my grandma used to, you know, she's from Limbe, originally from Limbe. And then she used to say that if you don't behave, she's going to send you in Coupe Manengumba. And then you start behaving. I don't know what I was telling about it.
Well, we go up to hearing horror stories. I haven't been in the division. I've just been there 2 times.
Okay. All right, so that's good. Thank you very much. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the chat today. All right, so we're going to go to Brother Prince Lenzelen Kweni.
Sorry.
Okay. Prince probably busy.
Oh, peace and blessings.
Prince, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I thought the sister started talking again, so I wanted
I'm sorry. Did I call you sister? I'm sorry. Are you there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. I thought the sister started talking again, so I was
okay. I think she's probably having a connection issue, but she probably gonna talk back when she's back again. All right, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Well, ancestral greetings. I'm very excited about this particular chat. I'm looking forward to hearing from the guest speakers. My name is Jamil Shabazz. That's my government name. I trace my ancestry using AfricanAncestry.com. I traced my father's lineage to the Bamiléké tribe back in 2010. And since then, I've really been on a really wonderful journey of reconnection to learning as much as I can about our people and African culture in general. I went to a naming ceremony where I received the name Quinny, which comes from the Okam region, which fits my Bamiléké roots. I'm very proud to be a son of Bamiléké, and I'm very happy that this forum is out there so that way people can connect, both people from the diaspora and also people that's directly from Cameroon. I've been to Cameroon twice. I know some of you who are more familiar with Cameroonian culture look at the name, and of course Lenzele, that comes from Soul Kingdom. I was given that name by the Fawn and Soul, and I was also given a few other names by different kings. But you know, the name Quinny, you know, that comes from the Bamiléké, and that's where my forefathers are from. And I'm looking forward to all the information that's going to be presented here this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, and I'm sure that you're gonna enjoy the chat. And it's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much. So we're gonna go back to Brother Toko. Brother Toko, go ahead. Prince Toko, I think he's not near his phone.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay, brother. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna go quick because this is my second time around.
Okay.
My government name is Gary Fowler. My given name is Ngwambeua Tukam Toko from Barbone, and I visit there. I've known my ancestry for almost about 3 years now, and happy to be a part of this platform and that's about it. I'm gonna go really quick and just say that it's a pleasure to be a part of all of you guys' lives at this point. So thank you very much for allowing me to be in this group.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I have a quick question. Where is Babone? Monkam, where's Babone?
Babone is in Bafang.
It's in Bafang.
It's Bafang. It's very close to Bafang. It's probably about maybe 25 minutes to Bafang on the road going to Yabasi.
Okay, so you see, even us who were born there, Cameroon is so vast and there's so much diversity. So if you tell me something, I had no idea where that was. So yeah, so you're not gonna be the only one learning.
Quite okay. It's quite okay. I'm happy we all are able to learn something.
So Babon is actually like maybe about 15 minutes to one of my more village. You can actually walk it between there. It's a direct land. It's going to Yabasi. When you leave Bafang to Yabasi, that's the road. Because we're very close to the camp to Yabasi. So we're gonna go to Sister Teresa Blake. He just joined us.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I was trying to find my unmute button. Yes, so good night. I am Kristen Blake. I am a Jamaican, but I've been introduced to this group for, I think, maybe 6 months or more, maybe a year. I'm not sure. But I've been joining the meetings and learning so much about the Bamiléké culture and the people, and it's been really interesting. Of course, there's not everything I understand, but I've learned a lot, and I would like to know about my roots. I'm not sure where my people are from as yet, but I kind of feel like, it might be the Bamiléké people. No? So yes, that's it from me. I'm looking forward to tonight. So yeah, blessings to everyone.
Thank you, sister. Thanks a lot. It's always pleasure to have you, and I'm sure that you can enjoy what's going to happen tonight. Thank you very much. What time is it in Jamaica now? Is it same time as New York? Is it?
No, it's not actually. It's 4:34. So I thought the meeting would have started in 30 minutes time.
Okay.
So I made a mistake. I never knew that New York time is different from our time.
Yeah, you're supposed to pray for us anyway. So Brother B did that earlier. Okay, so
yes.
Thank you. Thanks again very much. Thanks a lot. So we got one more person to go. Anyone got a question before we move on to the next person? You all fine, yeah? Okay, thank you very much, sister. Thanks again. All right, we're gonna move on to Brother.
I would like to know. I didn't hear where President was from. Sorry.
Okay.
We're gonna present when we're.
He's gonna present after. The guest speaker are not presenting now. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had to go and get my other computer. I thought she already spoke. I'm sorry.
No. You're gonna find out about everything. Anything you want to ask President, she's gonna tell you.
Okay.
Be patient, my brother.
Be patient. You can ask her credit card number, everything. She's gonna give you. You're gonna go to Brother Monte. How you doing, Brother Monte?
Goma Chelsea Yellow Puma. May our ancestors always guide our path, in peace and always to greatness. Yes, your brother Mocho Choconcho, or you can say Monte Chaconte. Just a person who is willing to do a little sacrifice to bring back the value in our traditions. That's all I can say. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Well, so we're not gonna take more time. We went through everyone. We know who's here. So we're gonna go straight to
Brother Monta.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yes, just to introduce.
Let me speak. Okay. You guys probably saw on Facebook, on everywhere. Brother Country is based in Cameroon. He's building what we call a house for African. How do you call it again? I'll let you talk anyway. Go ahead, brother.
Afro-descendant house.
Afro-descendant, the house for
Afro-descendant
Afro-descendant.
house.
So he's
Yes.
doing a massive project in Cameroon to accommodate brother and sister who want to go back home. So they're gonna have some time to stay over there. So he's gonna talk about he's gonna introduce himself and he's gonna go through the house as well. Go ahead, brother.
Yes. My name is TCHOUTEZO. Also born in Balmayo, so in the same city as Mr. Monkam, not far away from Yaoundé.
In fact, I knew Mr. Country from primary school.
Exactly. So we know really long time ago, and I also spent a lot of years abroad in Europe, in Germany. Some years in France, and few months, 8-9 months in UK as well. But it's already more than 14 years that I'm back, and I'm working hard to build an Afro-descendant house here back home. So thank you and hi to everybody.
Thank you very much. Anyone got a question?
Yes, I'm curious. Why an Afro-descendant house? That's. I'm just very puzzled.
Yes, the reason is quite simple. I will answer with only one sentence, but I can also speak two hours. The reason is simple. It's just because I would not like our brother and sister to come back home as if they were tourists. Ooh. And I want them to feel at home, really here, and the idea of this house.
This is amazing because the Ghanaian government have made it the something official to attract the Afro-descendant back to Ghana, and they're going massively. So if you are doing this is something that we can all come together to actually do, and I'm very impressed that one individual have taken upon himself to do. This is a very honorable endeavor. This is a wow. I'm very impressed.
Yes. For Ghana, it's called the year of the return.
The return, yes. And I didn't know any
Cameroonians
Cameroonians were thinking, this is good. This is good.
The idea is also that this kind of house can be duplicated everywhere around the continent. And we already have a lot of people that are interested to make the same in Burkina Faso, in Benin, in Congo as well. In Kenya, even I know people, and in Cameroon. So there will be not only such a house in Yaoundé, there are also different Cameroonians willing to build such houses in different places here. So that's the idea. So we have a lot of those kind of houses around the continent.
Beautiful.
I love that.
Good. So, Mr. Country, if you got any information about it, you can share it on the chat so people can actually click on it and have a look. And
all right, I will put the link of our website on the chat, and then you can have more information about the project on the website.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You would definitely our association would definitely keep in touch with you when we come to Cameroon, because we've been talking about a few things, inviting those brothers and sisters joining us, looking to be reconnected to. Personally, I travel to Cameroon often to invite Justin. I already invited. I told Justin I'm adopting him, and right off, because he was looking, and I'm like, you have found it. You have found what you're looking for. Don't look no more. So definitely I'm gonna be in touch with you. Definitely.
Yeah. Brother Biz, don't want to get adopted as well. Brother Biz.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can adopt you as well.
Yes, she should. And have no doubt, you're gonna have, I'm gonna be a part of that. This is Atlanta,
Thank you, thank
but
you. No,
but
Mr.
also,
Concho, I'm very impressed with that. And I'm part of the advisory board. I'm gonna mention that we have a ABC, ABA, something that oversees our association.
okay,
And this is that idea is very amazing. It connects with different things.
yeah. Well, I tell you, I think I've been in contact with the brother because when I saw it, I was very impressed. I just spent 20 years in tourism, and so whatever I can
You
do
see?
on this side to help, this is exciting to do. And I think the concept, just like you said, is an amazing concept for all of us. So I'm whatever I can do to help, I absolutely will.
There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This is the benefit. This is the benefit of networking in the diaspora. Really is.
Thank you. I think brother sent some link on the group there. So
Yes.
thanks again. Thank you very much. So we went through everyone. Did I forget anyone? Please raise your hands up. Anyone? No. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the Association of Bamiléké Atlanta. So it's A.B.A, A.B.A, yeah. So we got the president and we got the honorable member as well. So we're going to be going through the association and then we're going to be talking about what does that mean to be a Bamiléké, a Grassfield. So I'm going to start by introducing and bringing the president. She's going to introduce herself and then you guys can, ask the question when she finished talking. Wow. There you go, President.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor for me. Justin opened a very wonderful door because it's the first person that contacted me. So my name, I'm going to start with my name. My name is, my given name is Marlyse de Paul, just like you. Marlyse de Paul Ngassa. And I was born Marlyse de Paul Zim Ngassa. That's my father's name. And then when I got married, my husband's name is Ngassa. So the only thing that got off my name was Zim, Z-I-M.
Okay.
And I'm from the region, they call it, the European name it Bangante. And the language is, commonly they say the Bangante language, but it's the Medumba. And Bangante is literally the part of the West Cameroon. I don't want to alienate or offend anybody, but we call ourselves the center because our motto, they say we, the people from that region, epitomize what it is to be Bamiléké by the three word noblesse, dignité, élégance. So even growing up, even though my parent did not emphasize that as such, because it seemed a little vain, and my father always said vanity is a vice. So, but commonly they would, as youngster growing up, when we say, "Oh, she's Bamiléké," but somebody would say, "But look at her," and the way I carry myself. For some reason, I was brainwashed to stand out because of where I come from. And also, my father was somebody, he was educated, but very much with religion. And his beliefs was that as a human being, you don't stand alone. So, how you carry yourself in the world is a reflection of where you come from. And he always say, he inculcated in us the sense of the very high value and a lot of pride, but humility. So at the same time, when all this value, I had to balance all this value. At the same time, I'm from the noblesse, dignité, élégance. And at the same time, I have to make sure that I'm representing those who, who share the lineage with me. In my region, we have identifier. I know somebody introduced themselves and say when they give the name, we would commonly know the name is from some region and order. like Monkam, I know it's Bafang, but I cannot know exactly which region. But some people who are more knowledgeable would know. And my region in the Ndé, that's the big district, or I don't know, uh, division is Ndé, and they have different division within the Ndé. But my region is the royalty lineage. The king and even the minister Cortez were all from the same lineage. And what's his name? The second person, Nyat, for example, is my father's cousin. But even though we don't have a personal relationship, it's a very close relative. So we have the identifier. I call that identifier. In the language, we say Ndap. Uh, in our region, we have two identifier. A person has two identifier. You have an identifier from your mother's side and from your father's side. And from my father's side is the royalty lineage. And our descendant, we came from Bamun. So my identifier in my father's side, usually when I was young, when I'm introducing myself, that's what I introduce. Because when I say my identifier is Jombap, people, it takes people have respect talking to me. It just calls respect. And then I have an identifier by on my mother's side, which is not royalty. So a lot of the time, those who knew me growing up, they would just always refer to me with my mother's side of my identifier. And for a boy, the boy only has one identifier from his mother's side. So my identifier from my father's side, which is formally when I introduce myself, uh, is Njomba. There's many, but the common one is Njomba. Um, and as far as A.B.A, I moved to Atlanta. I've been living in the United States for a very long time. I moved to Atlanta in 2013. A friend of mine, who's also a relative, uh, talked to me about A.B.A in 2015, but I wasn't really interested because I've never been part of any African, let alone Cameroonian group. And along the way, my mother passed away, and I have couple mishap physically. I broke my foot, I broke my shoulder, I needed surgery, I was a bit paralyzed. And when I met her again, she's like, and I was telling her nobody came. I did a celebration of life. I had very few people. She said, "You see, if you were among the people, we have a lot of Cameroonian." And in that vulnerable moment, and I just thought for a minute, what? It's not bad to be part of some group. And she spoke very highly of the then president. And she invited me to the gala, the annual fundraising. And it was a red carpet affair. And what they were talking, they do. I was very impressed with my husband. My husband is like, let's give them a donation. What my husband was suggesting, I'm like, no, we're not just going to give this kind of money. We don't even know. He's like, no, we need to join. So here I am, a little over 3 years over later, 3.5 years later. The person that introduced me unfortunately passed away suddenly at the age of 45 and shocked everybody. And 2 years after I was in the association, 2 years and some month, the former president, the term he was in the second term, the second term ran to the end, and he personally called me to tell me that he would really like me to consider replacing him. And I say, I'm not. I laughed. I'm like, and I just I was trying to be polite. I'm like, you must be, that kidding me. I'm not interested in all that. He said, but no, look at all the stuff you have been in an association just as a member. You do so much stuff. You go to Cameroon. You come and talk about it. You follow up about things. And I didn't even think about it because I just do things without thinking about it. And he gave me all the pros. And I say, okay, ask around. if nobody wanted, okay. And he keep coming back, and he had other people talk to me. To cut it short, I say I'm not saying yes, but I'm not saying no. So if you think you can do it, I don't have it in me to get into all kinds of things. But if you think that's something I can do, I'll go with it. And I mentioned it to my daughter. One of my children, I have three children. One of them seemed to think that she's my best friend. So I mentioned it to her, and she's like, "Hey, if that guy that I know, if he's asking you, that's an honor, don't you think? Because he, everybody speak very highly of him." So when she told me that, I'm like, okay. I told the former president, if you think you can make it happen, so be it. Fast forward, I became the president. It was a year. I was elected in April of 2020 in the midst of pandemic. We've been carrying on the meetings throughout the pandemic. At the end of the last year, we lost two members back to back within a year. So that had really been very, very difficult. And to give you a little background of the association, it was created in 2007 by a group of people. One of the person, the second member that passed away, was actually one of the founding members. The association went from people meeting in houses. We used to rent hall to meet in, and they set out. From what I can see, I don't have any recollection, but on the website, the record that they have put, I think that may have done project before, but it goes back to 2013. They were giving hospital bed and some maybe food item to her orphanage. And the process that we give a project, member come once a year, we determine the period, and we do a vote. And we have 8 regions in the West Cameroon, and every year they go around in different regions. If a region win the bid this year, a member from a region, next year that region is out of the bid. But the association had grown so much, and in 2019, the former president say we cannot just limit ourselves to because it was hospital bed for many, many years. They would give about maybe 8 hospital bed and 2 maternity bed. And so we voted, the assembly voted to put more money out to do the project. So it became, we did 2 projects in 2019. We gave the hospital bed to 2 different regions in the same year. So when I became president, even with the pandemic, we had voted in 2019 before the pandemic to do a project, and we had a convention. We had been talking, and that president, a member had suggested, and the president considered it, and he put it together, and we did have a convention of Bamiléké in the U.S., and we had an association coming from Canada. And when we had a convention, the former president had done his homework, and usually when Cameroonian association do convention, other association is like maybe if you have 3 or 4 other full association that come in, is a very big success. We had 9 for the first try. We had 9 separate associations that were part of that association. So and then we established an advisory board that oversaw the convention, and the idea was to every year have a Bamiléké convention somewhere. And last year was supposed to be in Colorado, but because of the pandemic and the lockdown, it did not occur. So we're talking now, we started discussing to have a virtual convention this year, but the majority say we can wait to have a physical convention next year, hopefully. So that ABC advisory board, we started with 9 associations. Those associations that joined the convention. So Atlanta started it. Every association participated by buying a VIP, by contributing $1,000 toward the VIP table. That comes to $100 per head. But they were required to contribute 1,500. 500 were just going into an account to do a project. So we ended up with 9 associations. That means 4,500. And A.B.A had already voted to do 1 project. So we ended up doing 2 projects. The second one was financed by the convention. So in that spirit and in the spirit of what A.B.A had done in the past, doing consecutively since 2013, putting and be doing a project every year, and we did two. I put the proposal to do two projects again, and what we did is water well, and we inaugurated that. The water well is a seasonal project that is done um, in the drier season, and it should be done between October really and January, like mid-January, to be able to for the digging, because when the digging it has to be done during the dry season because the water level on the ground is very low, and that way the true measurement of where to put the pump would be accurate. And if you don't do it within that season, the water level would be high. Those of you who have lived, I'm sure people in Jamaica would understand that, and even in Atlanta and Louisiana, because the water level on the ground would rise up and is kind of problematic. So our goal now, our objective, I formally launched the project already this month with the association, and I'm setting up because of the pandemic. I'm still not very comfortable to envision fundraising, physical fundraising with hundreds and hundreds of people in the same room. So we're creating. I'm almost finalizing the GoFundMe, which I'm going to share the link uh, when we're completed with it. And we want to do full fundraising online. And then we're going to come back. Hopefully, that's the plan. I haven't really elaborated. We have to put the final touches and do a thank you gala early spring and do something different than we have done in the past, because usually we do a gala toward the end of the year. But with everything that is going on, it would not be possible. But the good news in August, our next meeting for August is planned to have it physically in a park, just to be in alignment with even though the social distancing has been lifted and the mask wearing has been lifted for those who have vaccinated, since we cannot go ask people and we cannot always take people's word for it, I'm not comfortable having something in the room. So we're planning to have our next meeting August 21st in the park, and that would also allow us to officially welcome our new members and do some kind of ceremony and really bring the drums and dance. So that's what I can say about A.B.A, about my leadership. I'm there. The election is a term is 2 years, so my term would come to an end next April. So that's why I'm trying to do something. If we're gonna do, we wrap it up before April, because our election is in April. So a president can run for 2 consecutive terms. But for now, I'm just focusing on finishing the first term with a bang. That's why I'm going and daring for this 2 project, and hoping that that's gonna be a success as the 2 previous one were. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was a very good presentation and everything. So we're gonna go to anyone got any question.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead, brother.
Question you had mentioned about 9 different regions that was part of the what other cities other than Colorado are in that collection?
Oh, I can't tell you on top of my head, but we have Ohio, we have New Jersey, we have Texas, we have we have Canada. Somebody came from, I believe she came from Ontario. At that time, it was 9. Today, as of the last meeting, I believe we had 29.
Wow. So
it's 29 different associations from different places. We have Washington, D.C., we have Houston, it's a lot. Beautiful. So, and Las Vegas, I remember, So those were the people. Some member who attended, the association was not big enough to attend as a group. So the bylaws, our bylaws say for you to be recognized as a group, you cannot be an ethnic group in Cameroon, in the West region. You cannot be an ethnic group. You have to be a Bamiléké, meaning you're encompassing everybody. Because we have ethnic group like from the region that I'm from the region that Brother Monkam is from the Baham, from every ethnic group in Cameroon, people have different meaning. So if you are a meeting that you're from a region in particular, that you have labeled yourself as a region, you cannot participate. You can come as a guest, you're welcome, but we cannot count you as a group to be part of this ABC. We call it A.B.A, All Bamiléké a convention advisory board. So we're working on doing big investment as a group to emulate what the Asian, the Jew, the different ethnic group are in the United States. We're talking of banks, of having a Bamiléké house in the United States. That's why I was when Brother Country talked about, you see, and Nde, who's going to talk, who is one of our notable, he's also president of, there's an African association in Atlanta, the branch of association. And I was fortunate to find it, join it briefly before the COVID. And in that association, we had also talked about an African house. So all this idea is coming full circle for everybody. And when I went to the advisory board, we're talking about having a Bamiléké, making Bamiléké a name in the United States, and people not being a power by themselves, but as a group. So
yes. Let me just too quick. You mentioned the gala, and I'm just interested since I'm from Atlanta. Where did you have the gala, and what park are you considering for the convention?
No, the next meeting going to be in the park in here, not far from me, in Powder Spring, but it's Paulding County. I don't know the exact name, but I can post the information. Paulding County.
Right.
It's like 5 minutes from, because we had event there. The Cameroonian community, we have an organization here that is called Kamkoga. That's the umbrella organization, Cameroonian, that encompasses all the other regional association. So I went to they had a picnic, because every year we'll have a barbecue. So it would be there on the 21st. And Justin and Zenobia, I don't think Zenobia is connected. Gonna be we're gonna recognize new member officially. This is something new that our association have not done. And I observe, and as a school, I'm a school teacher, and I see how sometimes when you get into the setting where you're new, you just keep to yourself.
Sure.
And I'm trying to do group dynamics. I learned some of the group dynamics technique to just, you make people feel welcome. You don't just come and they say, okay, welcome, brother, shake your hand. I want us to start a new tradition, really bring the drums and dance, because we say when we dance, we're dancing our dead are never dead. So the spirit, and that at that park, one thing that I have to let you know, the sister that brought me into the association, Dr. Vanessa Gaken, who passed away, we were together at that park in October, and she was dancing. She always loved to dance. And the image of what that I have of her is her. I have a little recording of her dancing. So the association don't know this. I already talked to the DJ, and I want him on that day. He's going to play the music that she was dancing to. I'm a very sentimental and emotional person. So I want him to play that music that day. And I'm going to tell everybody, let's dance and send her spirit off in style, just like she was dancing. So
and just the other one was, when you said you had the gala, where did you have the gala?
They have it in different hall. They reserve the room, whatever room is available, but because they would reserve the hall like 6 months ahead of time. I don't know the name. The convention, I think we had it at a hotel. We had some things at the hotel, but they have different
Places.
event hall in Atlanta. Just really,
Yeah.
I know we have Mableton. We have planned to have one in Mableton.
Mableton? Okay.
Mableton, the event hall. But then
Right.
COVID happened and we had to ask for our refund. But other ones is, you know, all these privately owned
Yeah.
event
Yeah.
hall in town. Yes, but it was
I was just
usually
trying to
a
get
red
a.
carpet.
So you're all around Atlanta. It's just not downtown. You're Mableton, you're Powder Springs, you're
Yeah, because when
all
we're
of.
looking for a hall to have our meeting before COVID, we met face to face, and
Okay.
we would be renting, you know, looking for a hall and be renting every month to pay because it was the association was kind of big to be in people's houses, and you don't want to mix personal and professional because we kind of have the means not to be doing it at people's house and there's no place to sit.
All right.
So,
Appreciate it.
but it's
Thank
around
you.
Atlanta. Thank you.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, so my question is that you say that you rotate the convention every year. So does that mean that you got a convention in Atlanta? Maybe the next time you travel to different location? Is it?
There was a bit because the Atlanta was the first one, and there was a bit that time. The convention is 3 days event.
Okay.
So on Friday night we had the culture night, and then on Saturday we had the symposium. And during the symposium, they tell everybody what this is all about. This movement, the our Bamiléké convention is a movement that we started in Atlanta, and how we're gonna carry it moving forward. Each year we're gonna rotate it in a place in a city. So if we don't vote, just like A.B.A does his project, if we don't vote for your project this year, we're gonna eventually come around to you because we want all the association that are member would have a chance to host the convention.
Okay.
There has to be a bit anybody interested to host the convention next time gonna come and present to those who are present why it should be in their place. And then the people present vote. And we voted that day. We had New Jersey, we had North California, and we had Colorado. And New Jersey made the presentation. California made the presentation. No, California was in the bid, but when after the second presentation was Colorado, California simply withdraw the bid because Colorado blew everybody out of the water. The presentation was very, very good. So we were all sold.
Okay.
So the next time, the plan is hopefully next year, the world would be safe enough for us to have a physical convention. And at that convention, any state who's willing to host will just put a bid. You have to present there are criteria. You have to be financially this, you have to be a certain number, you have to he has to rotate. So eventually we will go to Canada, we will go wherever an association of Bamiléké. It cannot be from one region of the West, of the whole, we will go there. And your group can be part of it too. I was just thinking about that I'm going to talk to you about it if you wanted me to introduce you to that advisory board.
I'm definitely gonna have a chat with my co-host, Brother Monte, and then we can come out to that. We can have a chat about it. There was something. The other questions that you said that you're gonna be able to actually have a naming ceremony as well. So
I wanted to do something. I wanted to do, for example, because the two Zenobia already has a name. But you're messing up my surprise now. I didn't know that I mentioned that.
She's actually watching. She's on Facebook. Zenobia's on Facebook.
Oh,
she's listening.
Okay. Because she already has a name. Moshe, I believe so. And Justin doesn't have a name. And I was gonna, because I've been, I believe that I'm not just saying it. I've been raised to the rank of noble twice. No. So I think I have the authority to say I can give somebody a name. I can, And beside that, before coming even to that, my lineage, I'm a Malvan. I say it first Mafo, but that's not my language. My language Mafo is Malvan. So I'm a Malvan. So I was planning to prepare something for Justin, brother Justin, because it's officially his enthusiasm and everything is befitting. So.
But what I know about the naming ceremony, it got to happen in the forest. So how is it going to happen in the US? Because normally the process I know to get the name, the notable have to go to the forest. They have to communicate with the ancestor, then going to give them that name. So how is it going to happen in the state?
This is you make do with what you have. This is like an identifier.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that traditional with all the right and all the thing.
Yeah.
I was asked, I'm going to give you an example. I was asked by a member who's my vice president 2 years ago to represent his mother at his, he was marrying an African American lady and he wanted to do the traditional. So we had to go, they was the father, I was the mother. So everything that I know that supposed to be done to the best of my recollection, I did that. And I gave an honorary name to his wife. I say my children, the identifier would be Marco. And this one, since I'm representing the mother here, you are my daughter-in-law and you are my daughter by extension. So your given name is Marco. So this is not the same as saying this is the one with all the right and everything. This is something honorary that I can do. And so I don't know the process that the ancestry give it, because I don't believe they'll go into the
I know they don't
forest
give
to
them,
do.
they just tell you that.
Yes.
I mean, African ancestors
Yes.
can give you a name. But I mean, now if you get your African ancestors, like Brother Toko went in Cameroon, so he went to the forest with the king, and then he got his name from there. So that's how, yeah.
Can I say something?
Yes,
maybe it'll be helpful. Interestingly enough, Atlanta is called the city within a forest.
Okay.
That's one of its official names, is the city within a forest. And I know Monte, when he went through and showed the thing about Central Park and all that, and I went back and thought about Atlanta. Atlanta is built on hills and all of the trees. So perhaps they can get some information about the forest. And I know you were saying a certain tree had to be there, but there's a lot of places in Atlanta that could be the same, because again, Atlanta is called the city within a forest. So
thank you, brother.
That at least give us something.
Yeah, and again, I mean, she got the title of Mafo, and then we all know the Mafo is ahead of the king, so she knows what she's doing.
Super.
Yeah. Anyone else got a question or anything to add?
Just a quick point, for what you just mentioned. When the authority in our tradition says something, we believe without any question.
Yeah.
So even if he tells you whatever he comes and tell us, just like we believe in God, you don't go questioning it. Yeah. You just accept it. You say, this is the name, but some of the things that I do and how I proceed, my father explained a lot of things to us.
Okay.
So if you elevate anything and you really believe in that and give it all the respect, who is there to say it's not what you're saying? Really, who is there to say it? Because when the king tell us that, we're not there. Nobody can sit and say you're and question it. So the honor, as I saw my parents do, when somebody from one of our own would marry outside the group, and you bring your wife, and they would do this welcoming ceremony, and they would say from now on, this is going to be your name. And that's it. They didn't go to anything. They say that, and this is we're honoring our heritage by doing that. So that's, to me, that's That's really just what I look at it. And of course, Justin eventually gonna go to Cameroon and be assigned. We do all that, but for now, just to show him that I'm serious. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. So
Okay, that makes sense. Makes sense. So I don't know if anyone got any. I mean, that would be good. That would be good to actually do that, because the why we do the reconnection is because obviously we understand that it's not everyone who can afford to go in Cameroon the minute they find the African ancestry, but at least we can have Cameroon in the state, so they can have everything, just like they was in Cameroon. And then when they do travel to Cameroon, they just feel like, oh, I've been here before. I've seen that this
exactly.
familiar, So that's why. I mean, Brother B has never been in Cameroon, but he knows a lot. Brother Justin never been, but he knows a lot about the country, and then he's still got a lot more to learn to add to what he knows. So it's good. It's good.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, hello everyone, and good day to you, President. I don't quite remember how to pronounce your name, but I have a question for you.
Yes.
What's the first thing? What are the requirements to, like, what do you need to do in order to get a naming ceremony? Like, do you have to already have an ancestry test? What are some of the
not necessarily.
Okay.
Personally, I don't even back in Cameroon, and when we have friends in the neighborhood, I think Moncam can confirm this. Sometimes you have your friends in the neighborhood, they're not Bamiléké. And if you're very close with that friend, and that friend is continuously eating at your house in the morning, is there all the time, sometimes the family may give that child a name, a Bamiléké name. That doesn't mean that name is on the birth certificate or anything. And that person, I've met people who would tell me, I'm not Bamiléké, but this is my name, because I had a very close relationship. My friend, my best friend, I grew up, were like brothers and sisters, and the family would tell him, your name is this according to our lineage. And that is symbolic. It's mostly symbolic. The way I see it. Some people are a lot into tradition, that you have to go, like Brother Moncam just say, you have to go through a ritual. But you don't always have to go through a ritual to have a name. So it's what each person believe they have to do. Each person chooses what they want to do. So it's like in Cameroon, Brother Monte, Koloko Levi, for example. Koloko Levi, I have a friend who's Bassa, and her name is Koloko. Simply because, and for the longest time, I didn't even know. And she laughed at me. She's like, Koloko is a Bamiléké name. And I'm like, but why do you have it? She said, because it's my father's friend. My father, people just have very close relationship with other people, and they would name the children after them, even if they're not from the same region. So the name is not really, if a family can adopt you, you can be from the North Cameroon and come to, and a family adopt you because they're giving you food. Bamiléké people are very hospitable and very generous. I'm not trying to say other people aren't, but I'm just saying that's what we're known for in Cameroon. We open our doors to total stranger, and we would not treat you any different. So when that occurs, what I've experienced personally, we give you a name. We will start calling you something. That's just the way it is. And you would respond to that name and be proud, because that means you're being welcomed into the fold. That's all. There's no condition in my perspective, in my humble perspective.
Oh, so you don't have to be born in Cameroon then? You don't,
No.
you just, okay.
Somebody can adopt you and say, I'm adopting you and I'm going to give you a name. And that's an honor that they're giving you. That's an honor.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you're looking to be adopted, just let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got a question from Zenobia. She said that if the name is only given in the forest, are babies given their name this way, or is there a time frame that they have to wait before name a particular age? So she want to know the difference between how to name a baby and yeah.
But maybe they would speak on that also. But
Okay, cool.
personally, I never experienced that because I'm not very much. I just saw. I heard that the Anglophone, sometime in Bamenda, there's a naming ceremony if the children are twins.
Okay.
But on normal circumstances, we don't have. There's no protocol. Just like here, a child is born, is giving a name. We have in where I come from, we give name. You name a child after a parent, after somebody. So a lot of the time you will see family in Cameroon, children don't carry the same name as the parent, because you name a child after somebody else. And my family particularly, my dad was very modernized, so we have our father's name. But generally speaking, children are not named after the parents. Women don't even take the husband's name when they're married. So it's just the truth. When you're giving a name, you're not. My mother didn't have a European name. When she married my father gave her a European name. So, people are just like one name, like Monka. But my father, I didn't know that. I learned that much later. I think maybe my dad was even already passed away or I didn't even know that he's the one who gave the name to my mom. The first name, but she had only one name.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Thank you. I think if nobody got a question, we're going to move on to the next guest. But my last question is who can become a member of the Association of Bamiléké? Is it called the whole Chika area?
I know.
Anyone,
you want to come?
Anyone who live in London like me?
Please.
Anyone in Jamaica, a sister?
You want to join? We have a procedure. Our bylaws and constitution say member party presence is a must because we have financial benefit.
Yeah.
Financial benefit means if you lose a parent, the association up to 2 parents, the association, when you join, you fill a registration form and you fill a parental benefit, meaning that if your parent die, we have a verification process if the parent die outside the United States. Meaning that I have the president who is in current president have to send somebody physically to verify that the person indeed died. We don't take documentation like that. If you're in the United States or somewhere where we know that you cannot go make your own death certificate because we know what we can do outside the United States. But if you're here, we know that you have to just submit a death certificate. But if you're outside, like in Cameroon, I have to physically send somebody. You give me all the information. We go and verify if all your contribution, because the contribution is monthly, is $25. If you have been coming to meetings and not miss 4 consecutive meetings, you are eligible for that money. If you have been in the association at least 6 months. So the conditions are very simple. Anybody, you don't have to be a member by birth. You can be by invitation, by marriage, and if you desire, currently we have a person who's not from the West region married to somebody in the West region. We have somebody who's not Cameroonian at all. He's from Gabon and he had lived in Cameroon. And he has, I think he has a child or a couple of children with a Cameroonian lady, but he said he loved Cameroon. So he asked and he joined. So anybody.
Is there a website?
Yes, we do. If you type in, that's how I think Zenobia found it. Bamiléké in Georgia. There's a website, the Bamiléké of Georgia.org. Yes, I believe that's the website. Bamiléké of Georgia, all in one word. And that's what comes up. Yes.
Georgia spelled out?
Yes.
Georgia?
Or in lower cases, Bamiléké of Georgia. And it comes up, and so, but our bylaws and we have a constitution is not on the website. So I'm just to join. If you want to join, that means I'm inviting you. I'm inviting anyone who's friends of Bamiléké, because this is not from a particular region. It's all Bamiléké. Even if you're not Bamiléké, you want to join, we are more than welcome. You know, we have the code of conduct, which is respect and mutual respect, and promote Bamiléké culture, and you pay because we have administrative, we do things like I'm explaining to you. We organize events, we do project in Cameroon, but when we were meeting face to face every month, it was like a little family reunion, because we have a member, at least 4 members at the beginning of the year. We make a schedule for the hosting, so we have food. That's why it was very important to do everything formally. It's not in anybody's house. We have 4 members that cook, and all the description, you bring food, and we, after the meeting, we share the food once a month. So anybody can join and fill the form, and maintain the membership. And you're supposed to be, you can be a member and come at least 4 times a year if you're out of the state of Georgia. But if you can even come just once or twice, it's fine, with permission. If I know, and you can write a letter to me and say you want to be member, but you cannot physically be there. Maybe once a year you can come, maybe not. You will still be member. You will have the benefit. That means if you come in, if the question of eligibility for financial benefits comes up, that criteria of presence would be lifted, because I already know that due to work or due to your residence, you cannot come. But you can be a member and participate in meeting, and you're in the forum. I put you in the forum where we're sharing everything. And if you can come even once a year, that would be fine. But if not, that's literally, it's up to every individual.
Thank you. That's a good information. Thank you. Thank you. So you guys hear that, yeah? So anyone got any more questions? So I feel that everyone is trying to let Brother Nde speak. You guys got any question for the president, or you can come back with your question after?
Yeah, I think I will just let the elder speak, and then I will I have some few questions later and maybe observations. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so thank you again, President. So we're gonna come back to you again. Thanks a lot for all the knowledge, for giving us all the information about the association and everything. So now we're gonna move to Brother Nde, His Excellence.
You guys,
remember. What you're supposed to say something there? You're supposed to say
Abarigani.
Is it Waru?
Yes. Hey. Well, maybe you might have to take everybody off mute. I would like this to be.
Let's start again. Let's take everybody. Let's put everybody on mute. Yeah, okay. Off mute. Yeah. If you can read the message, Brother did send earlier.
So, just to come back to it, when you hear hey, you say woo.
Woo.
And woo. Say it literally. Hey.
Woo.
Hey.
Woo.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself, and I want to say welcome to everybody here. I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to be part of you. I'm honored to be with you today, and I would really, with a lot of excitement, share a few things, with you, and basically also learn from you with maybe a few questions that you may have. By the way, the name I was given when I was born was Tedonzong, and my father's name was CHOUTEZO, and
I was born in Central Africa, in a city called, today it's called Mankon. And I grew up in another city called Kumba. I had someone who had kind of, who shared their origin and probably had the Northwest and Southwest regions. And that is my background there. And my parents hail from a village in the Western region called Tsong. The Europeans called it Bacham. So I know a lot of you say that Central Africa it's a region, and I know you were expecting to hear something colonial because our minds have been accustomed, if not fashioned, to listen to colonial terminology. So the colonial terminology anyway is Cameroon. I really don't identify myself as a Cameroonian because Cameroon means shrimp. We call it back home, we call it Njanga. Njanga, les crevettes. And I don't look at myself like, I don't look like a shrimp. I don't know. Do I look like one? So I feel talking about the Central Africa is much more appropriate. Well, I'm a father of two, a son and a daughter, and in terms of formal education, my background is in language sciences. Some call it linguistics, and a little bit more about myself. Today, you probably read my name as Nghwambeua Tedonzong TCHOUTEZO. Nghwambeua was my notable, my title as a notable, which was given by the kings of my ethnic group. I come from an ethnic group called the Nghwambeua. And the Nghwambeua, we are located in two divisions in the Western Province, the Bambutos division and the Menwa division. So, and we have 5 kingdoms. And what is a little bit particular about my notability was that the various kings, the five kings were represented when I was made a notable. And in Nghwambeua, it means a father of a family. That means, and you're given the role of an ambassador. So I was named Nghwambeua America, which means anything that has to do with the culture of our people in the Americas, taking care of the Nghwambeua people and the culture in the Americas. I was confided that role. And so I am part of the council of the language and culture of our people worldwide, and with particularity, special responsibility with the continent of North and South America. So just a little bit about my activities as it concerns culture, since we'll be talking about culture today. Well, I took particular interest from my childhood. I started clubs. I grew up in an area where we were known from the colonial denomination Bamiléké. As I guess by now, many know that there's never been a tribe called Bamiléké. Bamiléké was a word that was coined by Germans around 1902. And before that, my grandfather never heard anything called Bamiléké referring to a tribe. And my grandfather was one of the most powerful kings that lived in the area which they call Bamiléké today. About how that name came about, we'll talk about that down the road. So I grew up in an area where people from that region were, in quotes, not probably the most loved through engineering of the colonial masters. And so my activities as well concerned, maybe by being a little bit alienated, I'm not sure, or if it was the predestination, it helped me to start the promotion of my culture. And as low back as in my high school, I created clubs, you know, where the Bamiléké culture was taught. And that stayed with me through my Africanist beliefs, and also made me to grow the pride of being an African, being one from the quote-unquote Bamiléké area. And later on, I got to play at least a small role in the All African Students Union. I guess a lot of you, the younger people may not know about the All African Students Union, but it is one of the strongest organizations that fought for the independence of different countries in Africa. Our headquarters was in Algiers, Algeria, and we had our secretariat in Ghana. I cannot testify today if the All African Students Association still exists, but remember, that is one of the greatest liberation forces that existed in Africa in the 60s, the 60s and the 70s. And that continued, and while I'm currently resident in the Atlanta area in Georgia, and just like our very powerful queen just said a few moments ago, I happen to be the president of the African community in the state of Georgia here. I also am part of a few organizations that include Patsombung. Patsombung is people from the origin who originate from my village called Tsong, which, like I said, the colonial masters call it Bacham. That of another organization called Mangwa. Mangwa is a term for people who come from the Bambutus region. And of course, part of A.B.A and the convention. A.B.A that has to do with the all Bamilékés in Atlanta, as well as the convention in that brings together the Bamilékés in the United States and Canada. I happen to have fought for this to happen since in the early 2000s, in 2001 and 2. I made extensive travels to different states, trying to get all these states, the Bamiléké associations, to get together. And lo and behold, this dream came to reality in 2019, thanks to the association that is based in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, as concerns my general vision and purpose, I am very much into working, making a contribution for Africans, wherever they may be. And when I use the word African, our term for African is anyone who claims an African heritage, regardless of whether you were born in Japan, in Tierra del Fuego, in Hawaii, whatever you were born. And that is who I call an African. And so is my dream is for Africa to find its leadership back in the world, because the world has gone AWOL. The world has gone crazy for having lost that leadership that Africa provided as the mother of humanity, as a place that understands what it means to live like humans.
Yes.
So that is part of my mission. And one of my methods that I use, being that you can tell that I have a very small voice, and many people don't hear me when I talk. So when I talk, maybe just only one or two people around me can hear. So one of my way to approach this is by helping in the process of decolonizing the African mind. And our greatest combat today is one of enslaving the mind, getting out of mental slavery, on training our minds in the trends of the enslaved minds in which we sometimes, in quotes, take pride in being a part of. That being said, I just came from this meeting. As a matter of fact, I just came from another meeting where we're trying to bring youths, teenagers. We're doing a rites of passage for youths and teenagers in the Georgia area, giving them the training, them passing on the values, African values to them, so they can be fulfilled humans, of tomorrow. So that's a little bit about myself. And I know after that brief introduction, it would be great now to embrace the subject which I was called upon to talk about, what it means to be a Bamiléké. Hey, hey!
Ooh.
Somebody is sleeping. Hey, hey! Come on, I see a lot of phones. I see a lot of people are muted.
Hey,
yes, sir.
It's not for you. If it is not interactive, I can't. If I'm talking to myself, then I'll be gone in a second. But if we are all talking and sharing, having fun, then I think we can move on. Hey, hey! All right. So before sharing my little knowledge and what I know is just a drop. And it is our collective knowledge, our collective participation in sharing the knowledge that is going to make our voice fulfilled. Nobody has a monopoly of knowledge of our people, our culture, our origins. In fact, because even historians who represent things, some may say there's been a lot of oral literature. I say yes, even though that's not 100% true. The thing is, even historians write from a certain perspective, which means even history that is written is not always the same. So never set aside what you hear from some other person. Never say what someone you heard from someone is the God-given truth, but let us take all the knowledge, the bucket of knowledge that we get from each other, put it together so that we can be better enlightened and we can better understand who we are, where we come from, and most of all, where we are going to. A vision for the future. So in order to do that, I would first of all, in my capacity as one who is anointed, formally welcome you to this conversation with our traditional welcome. This traditional welcome spreads across the grassland area of Cameroon, of the Central African region, of let any way you understand it in that part of Africa, and of course in most of Western and Central Africa. And we have particular symbols that you don't mistake. And I will start by presenting you with the sweetest of the symbols. In fact, that symbol is called sweet, ndindim. And here it is. I know most of you have seen this before. It is called ndindim. You may call it jujube. Some call it jujube. If you go and you Google it, yes, Brother Monkam, you got it. And you got it right there. This is a symbol. Ndindim means sweet, sweet. Why? Because it symbolizes love. It symbolizes togetherness. It symbolizes a bond. It symbolizes brotherhood. It symbolizes good luck. It symbolizes goodwill. And it is also a symbol of a protection. And no one from the grasslands area be it from the region of the Mbama or the Bafia region, from the region of Bankim in the Adamawa region, from the Northwest, from the Western region, from the Southwest where you have the Bangwa, they don't go around with that beast in their pockets, because it protects you also against evil and keeps you bound with those that came before you, our ancestors. So I welcome you, first of all, with this symbol. And secondly, I'll go ahead and welcome you with life. Life is represented in most of the Bantu tradition with the kola nut. Again, a kola nut, you can Google that. And I'm trying to be a little more explicit, even though maybe if I'm talking too fast, please feel free to ask many questions, because I understand not everybody is familiar with those symbols. But the kola nut, you can always Google it. Kola nut, that will be K-O-L-A and not N-U-T. It's a symbol of welcome. It's a symbol of life. And you will come across the common saying that he who brings kola nut brings life. And Chinua Achebe, a celebrated author, used that quotation. And being that we are virtual, I would have actually liked also to say and start a libation, but I know a lot of the action may be missed. And we normally would do a libation with wine, palm wine. I understand many people use, other type of wine today, but I always like to stick with palm wine or with water. And for that reason, I have a special, my special cup here. This is made from the horn of a bull. And I'm going to share this water because water is what has been there, as it is said before, even we were here. And I'm going to share this water, and you can see me pour it here. And in the name of all of us, for our health, our protection, and for our bond with the ancestors, I will drink this water for all of us. And of course, I will drop it as well outside to invite our ancestors to be with us and share and inspire us, encourage us, and be a part of what we are doing to make sure that we bring our people together, to make sure that we keep control of our future. So now I'll be very brief. That being said, I'll be very brief to say what it means to be a Bamiléké, and then I'll stop right there. And with questions and the inputs, I think we will learn more. I would like to say two things. There is the reality of the Bamiléké, and also there is the metaphorical Bamiléké. My approach to talking about Bamiléké is not going to be one of ideology. It's not going to be ideological. It's not going to be like trying to make somebody feel good. That's not my approach, because I do not think the feel-good approach makes, I'm not discarding it, but I don't think it empowers enough. I like to go with reality. I would like to talk about theories that are much more proven. We know about others that are much more glorifying. I've heard things people say that Bamilékés come from Jews, and I've been alarmed that, hey, what a terrible analogy. Bamilékés existed before the Jews. How can you say that we came from Jews instead of saying that they came from us. I would understand that they came from us and not the other way around, you know. So I've heard a lot of things like that because people with the colonized mind seem to think that when you associate with the people who have been by design projected, it means you are in the light. Right here, when I look around, I find people with foreign names, with names from the Middle East, names from all of that, because we're always trying to associate with ourselves with people who in reality are our descendants. Are we going down? Are we going up? You know, so we try to associate ourselves because we think that is where civilization is. And it's like we are sitting on our heads. We have forgotten where we come from. And to me, it is an insult to our ancestors. We have to come back to the truth. They have to learn from us, not we learning from them. To them, at least let's learn from each other, restore the truth, you know. And so that is my approach. My approach is what is proven, what can be scientifically proven, what is closest to the reality. I'm not interested in propaganda, and that is my approach. So that said, what it actually means to be a Bamiléké, I've said the term was institutionalized by the colons, the Germans in particular. And though there are several theories how that name occurred, in my opinion, the most plausible is that of interpretation. The Germans were looking to get the name of a certain people who lived on high areas. And when the Germans came in that area, the valley people were their interpreters. And so they asked the interpreter to say, all those people who live on the other side there, who live on all those hills there, how do you call them? And this interpreter, in his infinite wisdom, translated what the German asked him. Instead of telling him the tribe, he translated people who live on highlands, Bamilékés. And of course, they cannot write it, you know. For those who are linguists, you understand, we don't have labiovelas. That means we don't have sounds like the B sound, the B sound in Latin languages, in analytical languages. We basically have those like in our tonal languages and all of that. And they cannot write mba, so they write ba. And they cannot write the way we pronounce certain things. The alphabets that we used today are not adopted to our languages. So they wrote Bamiléké. However, that is close to to what was said. And why is it that I would use that term regardless? It seems to be a term that has come to stay. And in any case, does not change who we are. On the contrary, it amplifies who we are. Yes, we are a people who live on highlands. Yes, we are a people who have high standards. Yes, we are people who achieve, who have high achievements. So that is why I wholeheartedly accept that name Bamiléké. But on the other hand, why I think there is a little thing we need to understand a little more about it is because it has somehow separated us from some of our sisters and brothers, because our history shows that we came from the north, from what is would be called the Tikars today. We kind of like a subsection of the Tikars. And when you hear about Tikars, they are today considered a different people from Bamilékés, and which should not be. So Bamiléké in reality is just a locality. So for those who have got a chance to look at the maps of Cameroon and try to study the contemporary regions, our people of Tikar descendants are found in 3 regions. We are found in the center region of Cameroon. It used to be called the Center Province, and this is most possibly mostly in the Mbam division. We are found in the Adamawa region of Cameroon. That is where most of us, our chiefs, our kings, still go back to that area to perform certain traditional rites till this date as I'm speaking to you. And it is in the northern part of Cameroon. It's called the Adamawa region. We are found in the northwestern region of Cameroon, and also partly in the Adamawa state in Nigeria. It used to be called formerly the Gongola state before it was split. And we are found in the southwestern region of Cameroon, where they are called the Bangwas. Of course, my origin being in the western region, I would understand somebody from the southwest of the Bangwa, called the Bangwa today, better than I would understand someone who is also in the western region of what is called Bamiléké and speaks Fefe from the Bafang area, or speaks Mundumba from the Nde area. So that is just a little bit of the scope. So when we say Bamiléké, the various attributes to those who have been circumscribed as Bamiléké, you can give that attribute to all the children of the Tikars who live in the various areas that I have mentioned. Of course, I said I was going to come to what it means to be a Bamiléké in the metaphorical sense. It is well tied to the reality as well. Bamiléké, if you want to say it in our other languages, in the Bamiléké, in the Bamiléké in quotes, probably whenever you see me write Bamiléké, most of the times I'll put it in quotes so that to give it the right approach of what its meaning actually is. Those who speak Ngemba, that is from mostly from the Chang area, the Menwa division, they say Beleke. So you can see how close it is to the word Bamiléké. Bamiléké, it means people who live on hills, on highlands, on plateaus, on mountains. I speak, my language is called Ngwambeua. In Ngwambeua, we'll say Mbelekwa. Mbelekwa. Lekwa is also hills, a highland, a big mountain. People who live on those highlands. And of course, it's going to be similar. Why say pa? Some say pa to say people of. Some say mbe to say people of. Some say ba. So it's kind of like similar. So after everything, it has to deal with those highlands. And now, when I talk of the metaphor, again, it's in terms of what you would observe when you see these people who are called Bamilékés. Anywhere you find them in the world, they are leaders. They are dynamic. They are high achievers. Because they live in, not only because they live in summits, but because until they get to the summit, they are not stopping. They get to the sky. They get to the stars. They don't take anything that is low. And that, if you are a high achiever, you are a Bamiléké. I don't care where you were born. If you are someone who has ambition, if you are someone who has high standards, if you are someone who is ready to make the world a better place to live, and you are not ready to leave any stone unturned to get that done, then you have Bamiléké blood running in your veins. So, today, I want you to understand, therefore, that geographical part of Bamiléké, I did not want to go to all the connections and all the origins and the possible clauses, because some of the clauses that have been mentioned, you have read a lot, may not necessarily be correct if we actually going to do investigations. I have heard some say, and I've read a literature that was shared on the forum in which I was introduced. Someone says the Bamiléké have been related to the Baladis in Egypt. And in my research, in my contemporary research, Balati simply means a child of the area. And, you know, some of the things that we read can be true, but I don't rush into endorsing them until I can prove beyond reasonable doubt. However, I'm going to stop right there and say, well, I'm very glad to have had this opportunity. And I also want to very much thank Brother Monkan for putting this together, for giving this opportunity for us to be able to share about our culture, our people, and to be able to energize each other so that we can continue to move forward. So thank you very much, everybody. I'll stop right there.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. Encouraging.
Thank you.
Powerful,
Thank you.
powerful.
Yeah, thanks.
I would like to thank you, my brother, for sharing. I don't know if you remember me or not, but I met you at the at a meeting of African authors with the President Chinedum Igwe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I met you. Yes, I met you at the last meeting they had at the
November
hotel.
2nd. I was there too.
And I told you all that I was Bamiléké, and this is right before the pandemic, and you gave me your number, and I was looking to connect, but since the whole pandemic came in, that threw everything off for me, and I never reached out. But we're going to reconnect again, and you know, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and Igwe is my friend. So every time he does one of the meetings of the African authors, you know, I try to be there if I'm not working. So I'm going to join the organization, and you all going to see me again.
Thank you. Okay.
Awesome. And I think I remember.
So that's what we're talking about. We reconnect, and then we reconnect again. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Yeah.
Great.
So honestly, thanks a lot, brother. That was really well explained. And to be honest, I'm glad that we connected. You know, because what you just taught us there is really what we needed. I'm sure that everyone in the chat here agree with that. That's what we needed. And then there's a lot of clarification about everything.
Definitely.
I'm looking at the chat. I remember that, is it Chrisan? She had posted, yes, when they showed the color nut. She say she knows that they call it BC in Jamaica. And I'm reading the following post. She say, I learned, she knows that she's a Bamiléké because she's a high achiever. That's what I'm talking about. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, goodness. When he was talking, I'm just like, preach. Yes.
I just want to share this. Both of my parents are Jamaican. My son's mother, whom I met randomly in New York, you know, is Jamaican as well.
Man.
My results came back, Bamileke, Tikar, and House of Cameroon. I tested my son's mother's line, and she's Jamaican as well. And her results came back Bamiléké. So it's a high possibility that her results may come back Bamiléké, or you may have some Bamiléké in there somewhere.
Okay.
Just like I have Nigeria in there and a few other places.
Yeah,
But
because
my direct
she's
line was Bamileke, Tikar, and Hausa of Cameroon.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly believe in a genetic attraction because my son's mother is Bamileke as well. And the last woman I was in a relationship with had the same country and everything on my maternal side. So I do believe there's some kind of genetic attraction going on with these ladies I've been having relationships with. But it's a strong, it's a strong possibility that my sister from Jamaica may receive Bamiléké results. Very strong possibility.
I'm curious to ask her if, Christian, have you tested or you plan to test your DNA?
Yes, actually, I haven't tested as yet. I plan to. I'm just, I have to save towards it first, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah, but I plan to test. And I'm happy that my brother mentioned his roots from Jamaica, so I have even more hope.
Yes,
yes.
I'm familiar with Bissy as well. I had some today in my smoothie. I put a little Bissy in my smoothie. Because because the being that Bissy is the cola nut, it gives you energy. So I put Bissy and sea moss in my smoothie. I blend it up in there and everything. You know, so the Bissy will give you energy all day. You don't need to drink no coffee. You don't need to buy no 5-hour energy, all these energy drinks. The Bissy will have you energized for the whole day. I know Jamaicans drink it.
We drink it a lot here. Even my mom gave it to me. My mom gave it to me recently. Like it's very common to drink as in the morning, as like we call it tea. Yeah,
it's not bitter.
Tea.
It's not bitter.
Not extremely. It depends on how you make it. So
because the cola nut is bitter, and I never.
You usually put it in the tea with some honey, but the Bissy powder, I take maybe 2 tablespoons and I blend it up in a smoothie. And when I blend it up with the NutriBullet, the amount that I make usually lasts me 2 days. So I'll drink a cup before I go to work in the morning, and that energizes me throughout the whole day without giving me the jittery feeling or anything like that.
Of caffeine. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very powerful. We use it for other things too. Like if you have pink eye or conjunctivitis, we use the stem. We put the stem in water and we allow it to drain. And it's like there's a clear, slimy thing that
just like aloe. Yeah, it's almost like aloe.
Yeah, and we drop it in the eyes, and then after that, the eyes clear up very quickly. So we use it for a lot of things here in Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, peace and blessings. I want to say thank you to the president and Nghwambeua. I hope I'm saying it right, Elder. I appreciate all the information that you gave us during this chat. I just want to also say that it's really refreshing when we see the native-born Africans, particularly from Cameroon, when we see the spirit of welcoming us. You know, when I listened to both of you talk, that's why I was really excited about this particular meeting, because I wanted to kind of get a glimpse into your personalities. And I see that you have a very truly welcoming spirit. And I like the fact that you think about things from a non-colonial type of way. So I really appreciate it. It was really refreshing to really listen to you all speak in the manner in which you spoke.
Thank you.
With brother, well, I call him, Prince Name, but I know everybody call him Brother Michael. I think you're right with that, because my mother and my father both had Bamiléké roots when we did the DNA test. And then with the Jamaican part, my stepmother is Jamaican. My father remarried a Jamaican woman, and she looks just like the president. So that's the funny
I want
part
to
right
meet
there.
her. That's my
Yeah,
twin.
yeah. I mean, when I was looking at you, I was like, wow. But yeah, I really enjoyed this particular meeting, and anything that I can do to support the association. I'm not in Atlanta or Georgia or anything, but if I
Where
know
are
anybody
you?
that I'm in Maryland. I'm in Prince George's County. I'm near like
Okay.
DC. You know, the
Okay.
kind of the center part. I'm
Okay.
near, I'm right there in Maryland. But originally, I was born in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
But if there's anybody that's in that area that trace their roots to Bamiléké, I try to get them in contact with you all,
Please
especially people,
do.
especially if
Yes.
they're serious about the culture, like Brother Justin and others. So anything I can do to support y'all, just let me know, and I'm your brother. Well, but
Yes.
particularly I'm your son.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I want
Thank you.
our brother Conchu, what he's doing in Cameroon is definitely, I'm going to make him my point of reference. And whatever it is, we have another honorable member in our association, Dr. Nana. He's the one who is my co-chair at the meeting that Brother Monkam and Justin and Zenobia, we chatted lengthily after the meeting. And he's the one who is really, was discussing with me all these people that are coming. We need to uh, think of taking them to Cameroon. I say I was already doing that. I have a nonprofit on that has nothing to do with A.B.A. A.B.A. is just I was connected with you through A.B.A. But what I'm doing on the personal level, which is a professional as well, I was working to bring people along who want to do something, to want to leave some kind of footprint in the world and not be trying to overthrow any government or get into anything that is wilder than us to come along in Cameroon. But for the country, what he's doing there is very, very good. And I would really definitely be in touch with him and connect with him. And the next time I go to Cameroon, I'll go see the project firsthand, because we are hoping to, within the next 8 to 10 months, have somebody from this group join us on the trip to Cameroon, join me or anybody else who want to tag along. So that would be good.
Beautiful. I just want to also thank Queen as well as the other brother elder from Cameroon. This has just been an outstanding presentation and very enlightening. It cut through things, especially understanding this colonized mind and how we need to continue to work on truth as it is. And I'm just always thrilled with these discussions. And I'll tell you, I know I won't pronounce your name right, but it was very interesting because you were saying you were with the All African Student Movement in Africa. And I guess we're around the same because I was very engaged with the civil rights movement at the same time in the late 60s and 70s in America. So we were both fighting for freedom in both different places and independence. So this again just connects it, and the fact that you're in Atlanta with the human rights and civil rights movement and all that was done during that time, and just the fact that that's home, and here I have home folk twice, Cameroon and Atlanta. It just thrills my heart. So thank you very much, Moncom, for putting all this together. It was, and you'll hear from me some more. I have no doubt. I come back home about 4 times a year, so we'll see where the connection goes. Okay.
Where are
we'll
you
do
now?
That. I'm
Where
in
are
Delray
you?
Beach, Florida.
Oh,
I'm in
okay. You're
South
not
Florida, but
so do you think you're gonna come next month, the 21st, to Atlanta?
my birthday is the 20th. and,
You can make it a birthday celebration.
Well, don't tempt me, I tell you. But I tell you, I do a lot of work, and it's one of the things I want to see when we can connect. I do a lot of work with Morehouse College and the AU Center, and that causes me to come home about 4 or 5 times a year. And interesting enough, I did a project. I did a program called the Rite of Final Passage for Morehouse men when they graduate. I've been doing it for 20 years. So that every Morehouse man, 4 days before they graduate, has to go through a rite of final passage. And I connect them with Africa in doing that passage. So very involved with that. And I really give some thought. I will give some thought to how do we connect what you're doing with the campus, with the whole Atlanta University, because there are a lot of students there from Africa. And if there's a way that they can feel at home, both on the campus as well as at home with others, would be just tremendous. So
Okay.
something
Okay.
I'll be thinking about.
Thank
But this has
you.
just
Thank
been
you.
outstanding. So praise God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I look forward to that because what we're doing, every leader come and put his handprint on something and take the association higher than what it was. And
Absolutely.
it's not the destination. We're just on the path, on the trajectory, going higher and higher and higher, because that's who we are, and we are
Yes.
high achiever, and you feel it in your bone. You just
And
you
we
know,
know
being
it.
a Bamileke is a pride. In Cameroon, I don't know if some of you know this, but Brother Monkam would know this. I remember I grew up in Douala. I missed saying that I was born and raised in Douala. So we are Bamileke ancestry, but we are in Douala. And the area where I grew up in is Cité Sik, with the Bassa, the Doualas. But when they call you, literally, when they call you, they don't call you Bamileke. They call you Grafi. And the way Grafi is literally synonymous of Negro, you know, of nigger, and not
I
even
know.
Negro, nigger.
I heard you.
Bamileke, to some area, when they say Bamileke is like Negro, and they call you Grafi is nigger. And it was, as a young child, this was very, very disturbing to me. And you would be ostracized because you're Bamileke. This I lived this firsthand as a child. I lived this. I was bullied. I was almost killed because I was Bamileke. So it's a lot. It's a lot. But today, as I grew up as a teenager, as an adolescent and teenager, I owned it. You know, and I'm like, I'm Bamileke, and what? You know, I owned it. I started taking pride in it gradually, and as an adult, we stand out. That's something that I try to highlight even in our association, to really stand out as an association of Bamileke. The
Absolutely.
A.B.A reputation, the big things, we do things in a big way. The gala was a big band gala, and we do project. And when the former president say, let's do two projects in a year, that has, you don't see some association do one project in 5 years. We were doing consistently one project every year, and in 2019 we did two. We just did two, and I'm going for two and maybe more. So, Christian, we are high achievers, sister. We are high
Yes,
achievers.
we are.
Yes.
Absolutely. And
Peace. Add on to that. My father, before he passed away, you know, growing up, he would always like teach me things in parables. You know, some things would be a little bit more simple than others, but he always told me a man is only as big as his idea. He told me if I think small, I'm gonna be small. Think big, I'll be big. So he always encouraged me to think big. So I like that.
And your father, I don't know if he knew already your ancestry, his ancestry as Bamileke. Now you know why.
Yeah, I know why. Yeah, but unfortunately, I took the DNA test after he passed away, and I always say that that's like one of the last gifts that he gave to me was, you know, that Bamileke heritage that he passed on to me. But he never got to know. But his whole personality fit the whole profile. So
There you go.
as I began to learn, you like for example, one day, my father, he was very religious, and he didn't want to work on a particular day, so he used to work at Jiffy Lube, like doing mechanic work. And then one day he just decided that he wanted to be his own boss and basically be able to have that day off for his religious activities. So he bought a truck. He printed out a whole bunch of business cards, passed it out to everybody and their mother. And he never had to work for nobody again a day in his life. And he was able to observe his religious activities on that day because he didn't work for nobody. He stayed working for himself.
There it is.
Yep. Yeah, but he never got to know. But you know, I know, my older brother knows, and now my children know. So we want to keep it going.
Yeah. Thank
Yes,
you.
so yeah, greetings again, everybody. Great to hear all the conversation and all the interest that we have. This is just awesome. I just want to make a quick comment on what the president said, the queen said, mouthful what she said about that little oppression from the quote unquote Bamileke in Cameroon. I live the same thing. I experienced all of that, but I also want us to understand the history of this. This was deliberately done by the French because, you know, one of the groups that was really against colonialism in Cameroon, particularly, if I may say Cameroon, were the Bamilékés who decided not to cope with the French and go about the way they're doing the things spiritually, financially, and also socially. We pushed that back, and the way we're pushing it back, we showed the white man that we could do for self, and that was the group that was able to actually show it to the French. So General de Gaulle, when he was leaving, actually, he assigned one of his commissioner. His name is PMS Mayor. He told him that the number one group he needs to silence were the Bamilékés. And as they were living, they incite that hate through the other tribes, so that they're bringing that up on the Bamilékés because they're very, as she said, very proud and very determined as far as to lead the future, right? And have the sense of economy. They know how to manipulate money. They don't waste money like that. So they're kind of powerful without no help. And some other tribe, instead of learning, are somehow jealous and they do what they do. But, you know, I just wanted to put that so that we understand the historical causes. Now, I thank you so much, my elder, for enlightening us on everything you did. But I would like mostly to thank you on what you did at the beginning. All the traditional meaning of the sign that you made, of these things, or the nap that you showed, the color notes, and you explaining the actual traditions of the Bamiléké in such a short period. I think that's very important for all of us to know and see this thing again. That was awesome. The way you did it, I was just here, like, just so happy to see all of that. You mentioning about the importance of communicating with our ancestors by doing your libation, even though you were not on the settings to properly do it, but you figure out the way to do it as a symbol. That was awesome. That we shouldn't be forgetting about our ancestors. So if you want to talk about the greatness of this group called Bamiléké, you guys need not to forget the fact that they're one of the only group in Africa that kept a really, really close relationship with their ancestors. We all know this. So I would like to move on by also asking two questions. I will ask one question to our powerful elder, and I'll also ask a question to the queen. Now, my first question is going to be toward the elder. So I would like to ask you, sir, in your research, in that many years of research on you know, the Bamiléké traditions and the historical context that you brilliantly shown to us, what do you think us who are here? So meaning what? Meaning, you know, somebody like me who was born in Cameroon, grew up there, grew up also in a village, and then I found myself to be in the US, you know, because I wanted to have a chance to provide for my family. You know, in Cameroon, the dynamics of politics, you know, and all that's going on with corruption, you know, does not really, I would say, give a chance to those who don't have a name. I hope you know what I'm talking about. Like, You know, you could be the greatest student coming out of college, but because your father is not a general, because your father is not some kind of director somewhere, you're not getting any job. So I found myself to go to, you know, to have to kind of like run away so I can go overseas and be productive. So now, since somebody like me, trying to make sure that I incite again all of us to connect to the tradition and all that, which make us truly who we are. What are your obstacles? Can you name 3 main obstacles that you've been seeing in those many years of your endeavors? That's my question for you. And for the Queen, I would like to ask you, in you talking, it's beautiful what you've done. As you were talking, I went to the website because I'm very somebody who like to check about facts, right? I really like to see what people are doing. The talk was great, but I think the facts that I'm seeing on the website are actually greater, because I saw the things that you've been doing in many villages by doing all those donations on those hospitals, and also the water drill that you guys are doing in Baham. This is awesome. And I saw also the gala that you were organizing every year right before COVID. I see everybody showing up. It is awesome. Now, in the structure of A.B.A, since it's an association of Bamiléké in Atlanta, you are the leader, and you say that your term is going to come to the end in April. Do you think it's worth, or it's actually a value for us to operate the way we operate in a village? Why can't you be the queen forever for this association? Why we have to change it? Yeah, I'm very serious, because, you know, this concept of democracy is actually the concept that's actually killing Africa. If you go in Bamiléké village, for instance, I will take, for instance, I'm not even talking about my village. Let's talk about Bamun, for instance, right? The king of Bamun, which is Sultan Joya, right? Now, he's a king because he was ordained by the ancestor. Okay, there is a ritual that's done, he's dead. And then during Dongun, which is every 2 years, he's going to go to the marketplace and the people are going to judge him. So by saying that you are the queen forever, or you are the queen leader forever of A.B.A, I'm not saying that you could do whatever you want, because you go on to be checked at some point, like maybe every 2 years or maybe every 1 year. People are going to come and tell the things that you didn't do. But why can we have an approach of a Bamiléké kingdom where we don't have to have any kind of votes, this kind of democracy that always bring problem, but assign you to be the leader forever? So those are my 2 questions. Thanks. So I don't know if
I'm waiting for Nde to respond first, because since you're asking the question first.
Yes. Yes, my elder.
That's actually good questions. I like the questions.
Maybe he stepped away for a while.
No, I see his mic is open. Oh, maybe he stepped away. Okay. Nde, are you there?
He's taking some BC, some cola nuts.
Let me see. I see his mic open. So, Nde. Okay, I don't even know if. Okay, you want me to go ahead, because I wanted him to answer, and maybe he can. I was smiling because he had actually. I've been working since Wednesday. I've been doing A.B.A work. On Friday, I was with him for almost 5 hours. So let me see, where is Nde? Nde is now muted.
Yes.
Okay, so
you can go ahead, please, and answer.
Number one, we have a constitution. The founding members have stated in the constitution that every 2 years they have to have a new president, or the president can run for a second term. I wanted Nde to answer, because he has been telling me I cannot just leave after the first term for everything that I'm putting, because even Friday, he just told me this. He said, really, when you come on, it takes about 2 years to put things where you want to put it. It's just to offset somewhat, to take somebody's work and blend your work in. And now that you're sitting, you need to take that new elan, meaning the second term, because that's not something that really was even on my radar. Because when I accepted this, like I say, I had never been part of anything. And I was not really into the traditional Bamiléké thing. I was just like my identity, African and pride and everything. So aligning myself I came into this because nothing is by chance. I was being prepared. No time is lost. I cannot look back and say I didn't do this. But gradually I can confirm to you, even 3 weeks ago, this idea was preposterous to me. And after what we have gone through, Brother Monkam mentioned that I prayed at the beginning. This is the first time that I did that. And the prayer that I did pray was because most of us are were raised in the Christianity. Even though I have a stand on spirituality, I know that that foundation that I had led me to where I am today with my spirituality. So nothing, no religion is bad. There's part of each thing that you have to take. So the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. This is what I prayed. And to me, it's something not so much Christian, but a belief in God. I'm not calling Jesus in that. I'm that entity that is above everything, in which I trust. Somebody can call him Yahweh, Jehovah. We have different name for it. And what my experience with the association in my first 13 months were very, very difficult. So even that idea never crossed my mind. The idea of even saying I was going to go for a second term, but everybody has been saying this around me. Doing something during the pandemic, this has been very hard. It's not like I'm so extraordinary. No, just being able to put up a meeting and carry on a session. We are very organized and structured. My predecessor was there for 4 years. He lifted the association to new height. But at the same time, somebody else come on board and you don't want to step back. And that caused a lot of things. And to me, I was just like, okay, let me hold this boat and take it to the 2 term and let it go. But everything that is happening now, I told one person on Thursday, because that's my treasurer. She asked me the question that you just say, not forever. She just said, Prezi, tu dois être là. You have to be there for a second term. And I told her, unless you have to get a rope and tie me like a fagot de bois, I don't know how you say that in English, like a pile of we just joke. I just told her, I guess she's like, yeah, if that's what it takes, I'm gonna tie you and you're gonna be there. So I'm not rejecting the idea of a second term. I'm not rejecting it. I want the people to say, we want you. You see a little bit, I'm open to it, but I'm not going to say, I want to do this, because my hands are full in what I'm doing on my own. And I just came to what attracted me to A.B.A was what they were doing. They were actually a group of people doing something once a year in Cameroon. And I wanted to lend my little token of gratitude that I've gotten in life. So I'm open, I mean, that's very interesting. I see Justin posted that his second, but it would have been very good to hear what they say, not because it's me that I'm here in this position, but that's an idea to bring in. If you were to join the association, that's something that you can put on the table for us to ponder open. Maybe people may think in 5 years, come up with something like that, but not necessarily, it's not something that I can even bring up to anybody, because they're going to say, oh, see, now she loves it so much, she want to become forever. So, but I would, I don't know, let me see, he's unmuted now. So I don't know if he heard your question. Nde, do you hear us?
Yeah, okay. Well, I wanted you to go first before I, you know, we always have to honor our queens first. And yes. Well, well, to come to your question, Brother Monte, you wanted to know about the obstacles, and you wanted me to talk about the three main obstacles. Well, permit my repetition. The obstacles are: 1, mentality; 2, mentality; 3, mentality. I think those are the 3 obstacles that we face the most, the greatest challenges that we face the most. Why? All what you said was true, the challenges that the Bamiléké face in Cameroon, historical and everything. Now, you know the Bamiléké because of their dynamism, because they were fighting for the people. Of course, that does not work for the colonial master. And they were severely massacred. And people in that part of Central Africa were taught, they were trained to hate the Bamilékés. But when I grew up, there was someone who once said that the Bamiléké is a grain that will grow on a rock. Throw a Bamiléké in the middle of the desert and he will sprout and create an oasis for himself and be the most productive oasis. Go to Cameroon today, the economy of the entire Central African region is run by the Bamiléké. And guess what? Under the most harsh circumstances, the people who have been, the people who are most underprivileged by design of the colonial master, not because there is any ethnic group or any people who were born with any kind of hatred. If anyone tells you that, that is lying. People in that part of Africa, in fact, in the whole of Africa, are very loving, very hospitable. But everyone has been trained to hate the Bamiléké. So the only obstacle that we face wherever we are is when we succumb to the fact that, oh, people don't like us, oh, they will not let us progress, oh, they say a Bamiléké cannot become a president, a Bamiléké cannot do this. Once they hear your name, they hear a name like Monte, they say, oh, there they go. And everybody is, you know, turns their back on you. And, but you have seen, and again, that's what it means to be a Bamiléké. You have seen how the Bamilékés have imposed themselves. The highest number of intellectuals in Cameroon, the names will not mistake you. The highest number of medical doctors, engineers, be it those who are with NASA, you will hear about the CMOs and all of that, who are with NASA in the United States and other places, great inventors, all around, architects, the best. You find them again from those people who are the most marginalized. So if you are facing any kind of obstacle, when you wake up in the morning, just say to yourself, I'm a Bamiléké and nothing can stop me. Nothing ever stopped the Bamiléké. Go even to in the terms of the clergy. One of the greatest freedom fighters known in Cameroon today was a clergyman called Bishop Ndongo. You heard about Ndongo? That means in every field you will find the Bamiléké, and the Bamiléké will always be outstanding. Put anything you want, put all the thorns, they will go above it and only become stronger. Obstacles only make us stronger. So the greatest obstacles we have faced in the process of getting our African people back is that again of decolonizing the mind from the years of, slavery and the pounding and all of that. We have got to believe, change our belief systems, follow them, and today we are a lot of us are actually professing what they say. I guess, I don't know if anyone tried to find out how Sheikh Anta Diop managed to get his first doctorate degree. It was a hurdle because he used scientific methods to prove that Africa was the cradle of civilization. He used scientific methods to prove that the mummies that they were saying were white people who out of time had turned black, that they had melanin pigmentation in them, stronger than what you even see today. And that was so challenging to them, they stopped him from getting his doctorate for quite a while before they had to see. But it actually happened. So the process of decolonizing the mind, helping people to unthink, helping people to unlearn what they have learned, I think that is where we have our greatest challenges. And I think that's where we have to be a little more creative on how we go about it. We don't have the material, let me put it in very common words, the money to be able to do a lot of things. And we have to be creative about how we go about it. I think that is where we have our biggest challenge, the mentality. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, remember that you are Bamiléké and nothing can stop you.
Wow. Thank you so much. This is Mokam. I hope you are recording this, man. This is one time.
It's been recorded.
One time in life. You know what I mean?
Wow.
There was a second question that I can't wait one day to continue.
Yeah, please remind me of that question if I missed it, please.
So I was pretty much, maybe I'm going to put it again. Maybe you can see how you're going to answer this. The question was, since we have this association of Bamiléké of Atlanta, I know it's not just the Bamiléké Atlanta, because you got many Bamiléké people or other people around the United States joining. So it really means the Bamiléké in the US pretty much. Now, what I'm asking is, in that, right? Is there any way for us to operate the way we operate traditionally? Meaning, can we, for instance, if we determine, for instance, that the Queen is doing an awesome job and she's on a mission of doing all the great things, why can't we just use the same kind of approach that we use in the village, where the king is king forever until he dies? But it doesn't mean that the king can do whatever he wants to do, because once in a while, the king is going to be judged by the people. Can we find a way to use this kind of traditional approach to go about our things instead of always using this two-term democracy thing that never worked for us? We can see what's happening in African countries, where every election is war everywhere in Africa. So it means that this democracy they're selling us might not work. So what can we use our traditional approach to also go about our association here? Thank you. What do you think, Elder?
Yeah, that is a very good question, because that will also help to instill some of our original values in us as we go forward today.
Thank you, sir.
However, I think generally we believe that everyone has so much to give that we want to see the perspective of each other. I was one that was actually in Atlanta. I was really dying to see a lady become a leader of our association so that we could see the perspective of women. We could see the power of the Bamiléké woman. And we are glad we elected a lady because there is a change and everybody loves the way things are going in Atlanta. And we think that everybody can bring in a certain perspective. And it may just be right that we give as much chance to other people to bring in their perspectives in terms of leadership. And as a matter of fact, yes, in the Bamiléké tradition, when we talk about leaders, most of the times we've always seen the men. One thing we forget also to understand is that leadership does not necessarily mean that you are the one standing in front. A lot of people lead from behind. You can lead from behind. And I think that that is even more powerful when you've been a leader, you come out with the experience and you help somebody who comes with a new perspective to reinforce their standing. It just makes us better. So I think we can learn of that also from Ethiopia. Remember that the army in modern times, and I insist in modern times, that defeated a great European army was that of Ethiopia under Menelik, and they defeated the Italians in the Battle of Adwa in the late 1870s, and this has remained in history and a big blow to Europeans. But guess what? Who was the architect of this victory? We will remember Menelik because he was the king. We will remember all the great soldiers like Makonnen and all of those who did a great fight. But the true architect of the victory was the queen. She is the one who knew that if they could deprive the Italians from water, it would impact them a lot. She is the one who made a lot of reflections that were implemented by the king, you know, and the Ethiopian army came out victorious. Unfortunately, history does not put her in the forefront of the strategic planning of the war. So I think if we all come to terms that this person needs a term, that we really need to let them go unchallenged, as long as we agree on that, we will do it. But I think there's also a power in leading from behind. So I don't see, I mean, at this time, I don't think we see any inconvenience of that happening. So our queen can still stay behind and we will be strong and stronger.
Thank you.
Because, you know, on top of that, she is a mouthful. And if the people who join the Bamiléké Association, if they know who is the mouthful, they're going to understand that, first of all, the title that she carries, there are certain things that she cannot do. So I think I'm always trying to have the approach where we start doing our things our way. I do not believe in democracy. I think it's a trick because no country actually practiced it. And we can see the proof of that. You can see all African countries who practice so-called democracy. Yes, it was just a little bit of my insight, so we can start maybe thinking about this kind of approach where, you know, we can say, oh, she's doing good work, and it'd be actually a great thing to have her to actually lead the Bamiléké people in Atlanta or in the United States. So yes, thank you very much. Now, if somebody doesn't have any question, let me just be quiet first and give the chance to Avanti to ask a question, because I know she has a question too.
Before she actually speak, I was going to ask her if she's related to the Queen Mother, because I can see a lot of similarity between the two of them. Go ahead, Sister Avanti.
You guys. Okay. Let's see. My only question and observation, I guess, would be that what you guys are doing is amazing, and like everything that you've been able to do and how you've structured it. I really think that the TCAR would definitely benefit from having something similar. So, um, yeah, it'd be great to learn from you guys to see what we could do to put something in place for.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Definitely sure. I mean, you can bring that over there. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
start over there. And then
yeah.
you family here anyway. So your
Thank
family
you.
here. You always, you always here and then you always welcome here all the time.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, thank you. Anyone else got any question?
Peace. I also just want to say that I'm in favor of the Mafo serving more time as president. Because I mean, just off of my impression, just really you two, especially now that I see the association is expanding to new
Yes,
people like the
yes,
diaspora, people from
yes.
America and the Caribbean. I think the mentality that you have, both of you, and just the way you present yourselves is really compatible with welcoming in new people. And I think you are like just the best two people to really be the first impression for new people coming in. I just
I'm
think that
honored.
it's something about y'all, the approach that you two have that will really help you go really far with new people coming into the equation. So just for the benefit of the association, I mean, if you can't convince everybody to make her president for life, I would say at least maybe try to, at least go 3 terms, because at least maybe 3 or 4 terms will give, the time needed to kind of set
The
the
foundation.
foundation to
Yeah.
what will happen in the future.
True.
But I just think you two are like the perfect representatives and
Thank you.
ambassadors for the organization that you have.
Thank you. I would like to add something. And they mentioned that the Bamiléké is like a grain. If you if you throw in the mountain, it's gonna. He said, well, I'm not gonna try to paraphrase. And I remember the expression also. They say Bamiléké à la plantain. Any of you who is familiar with the plantain? Plantain cannot grow. Plantain can only ripe in the right temperature, in the right weather. And so there's an analogy that Bamileke is like plantain. Even if you put him in water, it's gonna ripe. So I think her name is, I'm trying to remember, I don't want to say her name wrong. The one from Jamaica. She made a comment earlier. Kristen, yes, I want her to remember that. Uh, so that all that energy and that motivation, high achiever mind that she has, and she's not sure, but she has a feeling she may just be a Bamileke. So I just wanted to add that, and I feel very honored that I didn't really put anything in writing. I just wanted to. I always like to speak from my heart, and I'm glad that you perceive what I was trying to convey, because personally, on the personal level, I was raised in humility and in open arm and to show love. And that's my first criteria. And what I think the purpose of me assuming this responsibility out of nowhere was that I had something to learn from this experience. And Bamileke are known. This is what's ingrained in me: hospitality. We are very hospitable people. My father was a missionary, And anyone, we open our door to anyone. And everybody is a child of God, like my father used to say. It's a great honor for me to welcome anybody, even if you have not traced your origin. Just by wanting to be around us, it is an honor. It is an honor to me. That means I have something that you is making you feel good as a person. And that's why you want to be around or be in the same circle as we are. So I welcome that with open arms. If you want to join, hey, just meet the criteria because I don't set it. You're part of us. If you can meet us once a week, once a year, that's fine. I mean, that's everybody's welcome. That's just my position.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again, President. Thank you. So I hope that we can all join the association and that we can change the regulation and then you can
The dynamics. Yeah.
be president for life. And then you can all vote for that. Yeah.
I don't know about life now. I don't know about that, but even for future generation, just it's something. It's food for thought. It's just something to think about. Not me personally, because I'm kind of restricted because what my effort is, I have to give much effort to this than what I set out to do. So I want to do it. Maybe consider another term. I'm surprised I'm hearing myself saying that. But then after that, it need to. I mean, I don't know. Let's just simmer on that. Let's just leave that and take that and simmer on it.
Thank you. I mean, it does make sense because it's like if you start building a house and then you keep changing the builder all the time, you're not gonna have the same results. So
yes,
it's like if you come to, set the foundation and then let it run. So I think probably you need to go for the second term. I definitely think that you should. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I think we're gonna wrap up the whole thing now. We've been here for quite long. We've learned a lot, and then massive reconnection. And I adore everything you guys brought in the power, everything you brought on the reconnection. So we're gonna just go through everyone again just to say goodbye, and then the last word, and then we can just go. Sister Kristen, she's gonna pray for us as well to finish it. So, Brother Justin, so any last word?
Yes. I just wanted to echo really quick about what Prince Quinny said about Madam President and the Honorable Elder being the perfect ambassadors for the A.B.A. Because myself, I was a little nervous about reaching out to the organization with me being born in the diaspora and not having a direct connection to the Bamiléké other than the African ancestry test. I had doubts that maybe I would be looked at as an outsider, maybe, and not be accepted. But the total opposite happened. And it was day one that Madam President was like, hey, I'm going to adopt you as a son. I'm going to adopt you into the culture. And that feeling, I was automatically accepted, automatically welcome. That really meant a lot to me. And when I hear the elder speak and he says, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should do is say, hey, I'm a Bamiléké. I'm powerful. Nothing can stop me. I'm like, man, that is, I can't put it into words, the feeling. It's like electrifying. Makes me feel like I can do anything. I will do anything because I'm a Bamiléké. So I just want to say thank you to Madam President and to the Honorable Elder. And also thank you to you, Monfrey, my brother Monkim, and Monte, because you also welcomed me. You didn't know me from a can of paint. You didn't know me from anything about me. You just saw a YouTube video and you welcomed me in. We are brothers. I would like to think, we talk all the time and I learned so much from you. And I feel like I'm getting the true cultural experience as best as I can, being outside of Cameroon. And yeah, I thank God for that. And I don't take it for granted. And if you could talk to my wife, she would tell you that this is all I talk about is Bamiléké. You can see my flag in the background. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you to everybody. And I'm just going to keep learning. I've been taking notes as well. So I'm compiling all this. And yeah, I'm definitely not taking it for granted. So
Thank you all.
Thank you, brother. Again, you don't need to test me. We just want you to gain that knowledge and then pass it on to your young one, so they can change tomorrow. That's the only thing. So just get the knowledge, transfer to
Brother Monkam, I want to say something. I'm sorry, I have to say something. Justin, his enthusiasm, his joy of wanting to be Cameroonian, it was overwhelming. I actually wanted to invite him to my house. I told him I would love him to meet my son. And I was just, I couldn't, we were texting almost every day. And I shared this with Dr. Nana. Dr. Nana is actually the one who said, Madam President, this is too much. You cannot keep the joy to yourself. You have to share this. He reached out to you through the association. You have to bring it. I'm like, no. I was like overprotective. I wanted to I told him I don't want to brag, but I'm a very good cook. And I told him Cameroon food is the bomb. And I'm a very good cook. And we were planning all this. And then when I share it, Dr. Nana turned it into this thing that we're going to have. He's like, no, let him come. Let everybody. And then as we're trashing this out, we can do a welcome, an official welcome of new member. A.B.A never do that. When you come, we say thank you for coming, welcome, and that this would be something very monumental. And it was all the joy. I have not seen Justin, but just the thing that he's sharing with me, I can feel how happy. And I share with another person, Joel, and I say, here we are, the news that we see of diaspora of African immigrant dying at sea. We're dying in mass, leaving the continent, and somebody want to be us. And I was telling Joel, I said, this is just too much. We are people. A.B.A need to see that and open his arm to everybody who's out there envious of what we had from the beginning and they didn't have. This is what Justin was. I mean, it was just something very, very powerful. So, Justin, the meeting gonna be outdoor, and we're gonna have a ceremony because of what I saw you were feeling, and we turned it into something official to make it. It was just because I just.
I wish I was there. I wish I was there.
I'm telling you, that's why I want to do something special for Justin.
Yeah.
When he goes to Cameroon, it's gonna be monumental, but with what I have here, I'm going to do something special for him there.
Okay.
And I'll be there.
Yeah.
He has been very, on the quest of learning, also just spirituality, the meaning of what we're wearing, the Shishindo, the door, what this means when we do this. It's awesome. So maybe you earn for me to take that flight and come to see you in.
Please do. You still have 4 weeks. Please do. I just want to blow everybody like, whoa, she's really taking us to a
when is it going to happen again? When is it going to happen?
Oh my goodness.
When are you going to have that, President?
The 21st of August.
Okay, so my daughter is in DC. I'm gonna send her there as well.
21st of August is gonna be from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. I'm putting a time limit to it because I have a wedding on that Sunday in Virginia, and I have to leave very early on Sunday morning because of A.B.A event. Okay. I have to not go when I can miss the wedding, so. It has to be from 4, and we're making the tarot. I just talked to the lady who made
is it Achu? Is it Achu? Yeah.
Achu, yes. We're making the Achu. I already ordered it to the lady today.
Okay. So I'll send my daughter. She's in Washington, so she's gonna travel down there as well.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. I'll call you after. Yeah.
Oh goodness, I'm so honored. You guys are making. I'm so honored. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're gonna move on again. We need to finish. Okay, so anyone got anything to add before we can wrap up everything? Anyone? Okay, I think we got everything. We're gonna get Sister Christian to pray for us. Unless Pamela want to add anything, Sister Pamela. I think she joined it quite late. You got anything to add, Sister?
She's muted.
She's muted. Yeah. Okay, the stage is yours, Sister Christian.
Okay, all right. So let us all pray, everybody. God, we thank you for this wonderful opportunity to share our cultures and, learn more about our people, ancestors, and everyone. God, we don't take it for granted for the joy that we have experienced and the love that we feel so deeply among us, God. And right now, I pray that as we're about to leave, that your grace will be with us and that we will be able to meet again in one piece, and that we'll continue to have that drive to learn more and to discover more. Bless us as a people, mighty God, and we thank you. All this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I should. Okay, as you know, we always have to leave the last word to the elders to close it. So I finished my job, and then I'm going to leave it to the elders to close it. Yeah, my job is finished now.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. So
Good night.
Brother Nde, it's yours. You the elders.
Really well. I just want to say thank you, first of all, Brother Monkan, for this initiative, for connecting us, together to be able to share some knowledge about ourselves. And I want to also thank everyone who participated, because it is only through this interest that we can share this energy and knowledge and be able to transform our society. It was such a pleasure to be together with you, and I hope we're going to continue like this and move forward with this agenda. It was also a pleasure that I got to earn new sisters and new brothers, and I can proudly say my family is growing larger. Thank all of you once again, and hope to continue with you on the forum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. When is the next? You're just going to inform us of the. Is it a regular thing?
It's every Sunday. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna get the next term probably by tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, and then we can send the poster out.
So it's every Sunday.
Every Sunday. We want to keep it really, that to
Wow.
get people to connect really. So we do that every Sunday.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
and we can keep it. We can talk about different things. We do talk about different things all the time.
Okay.
Monte got like a program where he spoke about how to get a Bamiléké wife and all them things. And
Oh.
yeah. So
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. And good night, everyone.